All right, let's do another Q&A. Once again, if you want to be a part of the Q&A, drop your hot takes, drop your questions. You got to be a part of the Discord. You got to join the Discord. There's a channel in there for it, and this is where I pull all the questions from. Chickshady, and if I'm saying it wrong, once again, I apologize, says Dame should not be a top 75 player, and it's not close. Okay, so if you're unaware, the NBA dropped their top 75 player of all time list at the All-Star break this season. They did something similar at the 50th anniversary of the league. They'll probably do it again at the 100-year anniversary of the league. It was really, really controversial for the first couple of weeks of the regular season, and then around All-Star break, it came around again, and people were talking about it, and it was this big buzz. And my take kind of grew to it doesn't matter. The list doesn't matter. Like, it's cool. It's, I'm sure, an honor for the players. I'm sure the players on that list are like, yo, this is really dope. But to me, at least in the grand scheme of things, the list doesn't matter. At least that's the take I've come to accept within myself. Just because you are or aren't a top 75 player, didn't make the list, that really has no way on whether you make the Hall of Fame or not. I mean, honestly, basically everybody on that list obviously is in the Hall of Fame or will make the Hall of Fame. But there's plenty of guys who aren't on that list, who didn't make that list, and are 100% first ballot Hall of Famers. And in terms of Dame, he was a very controversial pick. I saw some people saying Kyrie should be in there over him. I saw a lot of people, including myself, saying Dwight Howard should have been in there over him. I like Dame. He's a guard I really like, and I think this season in particular was a big season for Dame to be, I guess, highlighted is the word I'm looking for, because he was injured, because before his surgery he missed the second half of the season. He was looking really, really bad in the first half of the season, and a lot of people were like, what is wrong with Dame? He's clearly not that good. People were starting to have those types of conversations. So when you look that bad, and at least as bad as Dame did at the beginning of the season, and then this top 75 list comes out and people be like, well, what have you done? What does your All NBAs look like? What does your All Stars look like? Have MVPs, championships? And these are the type of conversations people start having when they're talking about top 75 players of all time. What are your accolades? And in Dame's case, or at least at this point in his career, his accolades aren't crazy. They're solid, but they're not crazy. 6-time All Star, 6-time All NBA, Rookie of the Year in 2012. Like nothing crazy. But should he have made the team? Sure. If you want to say he should have, sure. If you want to say he shouldn't have, whatever. Me, like I said, me personally, this stake doesn't have much weight in my NBA fandom, because these past, I'll say 10, 12 years that I've been a really big NBA fan, no one was talking about the top 50 list. It came out at that time 40 plus years ago. No one was talking about it. And the only reason they're talking about the 50 list is because the 75 list just came out. In 10 years, no one's going to be talking about the 75 list. And they'll talk about it again in 25 years when they drop the 100 list. It's cool. It's cool that the NBA did it. It's a cool thing. It's a cool, I guess, notch for players, yes. But I think in terms of the grand scheme of fandom, to me at least, it doesn't mean much. Young Daddy Weary asks, how is Hawk a 76ers fan? I grew up in South Jersey. I'm from South Jersey. I grew up in South Jersey. And you might ask, well, then why aren't you a Nets fan? Because for most of my life, they were in Jersey and not Brooklyn, obviously. And that's because that's North Jersey. New Jersey, North Jersey and South Jersey basically feel like two different states. North Jersey teams rock with New York City teams. South Jersey fans rock with Philly teams. So my dad was a Sixers fan. I'm a Sixers fan. I'm an Eagles fan. I mean, I don't watch baseball, but I'm a Phillies fan. I don't watch hockey, but I'm a Flyers fan. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. And I rock with the Sixers a lot. I was there through the process. I was there for the 10-win season. I was there for the 18-win season. Doug Collins, Brett Brown. Like, I was there for all of that. The day Michael Carter-Williams shocked the world and almost had a triple-double against the Miami Heat, I was there for all of that. It was a good time, good memories, if you will. Not necessarily a good time in games won, but it's just a really weird vibe of believing ourselves that we were going to tank and lose to get players like Joel Embiid and what was Ben Simmons. So yeah, that's why I'm a Sixers fan. Weary also says, hot take, the Kings will be a 4th seed next year. No, they will not. Shout out to the Kings, though, for signing Mike Brown as their head coach. I was very curious to see how long they were going to sign him for. Off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, it was for 4 years. So that's a good sign. That means they're at least going to give him a chance, because in a position like that for an organization like the Kings, they still have a lot of work to do in terms of shoring up that roster a little bit. So don't expect, just because you got Mike Brown, who I think is a really good head coach, they're going to have a complete 180 because they're not. Don't expect that. If you expect that, you're setting Mike Brown up for failure. Ninja Dill says, if Luka is gone, Jalen Brunson would be the perfect fit for a replacement. And then Young Daddy Weary, once again, added to that saying, a very hot take, Luka is overrated because it's like a 10-year-old getting the ball 24/7 and taking 50 shots. I think this is like the third or at least the second Luka take that's been in this Discord, and why y'all hate Luka so much? Weary's take in particular doesn't make any sense to me, saying he has the ball 24/7 and takes 50 shots. Because even if that is the case, which before this season I probably would have agreed with you, I think with the addition of, once again, I feel like a broken record, but with the addition of Spencer Dinwiddie and Jalen Brunson, Luka still has the ball in his hands a lot, but they are able to relieve him of some of that on-ball pressure by running the offense from time to time. But my point here is, you can't give the ball to everybody in the league and have them shoot 50 times and they're going to produce the same way Luka produces. It just doesn't happen. Other defenses know the Mavs are going to give the ball to Luka and they still can't stop him. So I don't really know what you're saying here. I mean, it's a hot take for sure, but I don't agree with you. Max Gilo 23, that's a new name in the Discord. Shout out to you for joining. Hot take. Ja Morant will be the face of the generation of ball in the next 2 to 3 years if he continues to develop at the rate he is and can stay healthy. I don't have any young superstars above him. Honestly, Max, that makes perfect sense to me. The only young superstar I can see maybe getting more publicity in terms of the face of the NBA would be a Zion Williamson. NBA social media is a really interesting thing for me. One, for this, but two, just I work in marketing in my full-time job, so social media is just something I keep an eye to. And the NBA PR teams have put out reports throughout the season of how many hits, basically social media hits, that certain players have gotten throughout the season. And Ja Morant has consistently been towards the top or at the top for a majority of this season. He's an electrifying player because of his, obviously athleticism, dunking ability, but he's also just really, really talented and has got the potential to have a really good budding team in Memphis that in the next 2-3 years, I can see, they're going to be title contenders in the next 2-3 years. So I can see easily him being what's considered the face of the league as we continue to move forward. I don't know if it'll be the next 2-3 years like that, because you still got players like Giannis in the league. But in terms of the social media presence, the media attention, Ja Morant's going to be the face for a while. Max, my man, you hit me with a really good one with the Ja Morant take, and then you follow that up with a hypothetical Lakers lineup. Fred VanVleet, Buddy Hield, LeBron, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Anthony Davis. Now, he did tell me he was a Lakers fan. You're clearly a Lakers fan, and you're one of those Lakers fans that be photoshopping jerseys on everybody. Y'all not getting this lineup. I get it. I mean, it sounds like a really nice lineup, but y'all not getting this lineup. Max, now, you was good with the Ja one. Then you went crazy with the Lakers one. Now, this one's sounding a little iffy, too. He says, now, I'm sure this sounds like me stating the obvious, but why exactly is Giannis considered top 5 in the league? Now, I'm pretty sure I'm going to sound like the only hater, but bro cannot shoot, gets 97% of his buckets from the paint. You really tell me these big men can't guard him. Max, I'm gonna ask you to do one thing for me. Go to YouTube, and type in Shaquille O'Neal 2000s highlights. That's what Giannis is doing in the modern NBA. Shaq couldn't shoot. Shaq was just a really dominant big who all of his buckets were in the paint, dunks, just forcing his way to the rim. But Shaq also had amazing footwork, a really good touch around the rim, and knew how to score in the paint and pass out of double teams. What can Giannis do? Force his way to the rim, has really amazing footwork, really great touch around the rim, is an absolutely amazing defender, and arguably one of the best playmakers in the NBA. The way he has the ability to pass the ball and hit people on a dime. I'm not saying he's like one of the elites. Like, I'm not calling him a Chris Paul. I'm not calling him that. I'm not calling him like Jokic. But he's a really, really good playmaker as well. So yes, you said it, not me. You do sound like a hater. I will give you that. You said it, not me, but you sound like one. To me, Giannis is above top 5. Giannis is in the conversation for top 3 because to me, you can call Giannis the best player in the world. I call Giannis the best player in the world, and that's coming from a Sixers fan. Joel Embiid's my guy. But to me personally, Giannis is the best player in the world because I've seen him take his game to the next level and just completely take over games on both sides of the court. And there's not a lot of guys in the NBA who can do that. Gary says, Young Daddy Weary. Yo, I feel like sometimes y'all just be typing stuff, but hey, I'm gonna take the content, so I appreciate you. Young Daddy Weary says, hot take, Warriors should trade Curry, Clay, and Draymond Green to work on their young core. No. All those guys can probably still play another 3 years at their current level, at least. If I'm the Warriors, I'm going for another championship. They look like title contenders this season alone. So no, there's not a world where I see the three of them get traded away. Even when they're old and probably no longer serviceable, if they're willing to take some pay cuts, I can see them retiring with the Warriors, to be honest with you. Once again, if you want to be a part of the next Q&A, you want to get your questions answered, drop your hot takes, you got to join the Discord. The Let's Talk Hoops Discord is available in the description. Join it. We're always talking about basketball. It's a good time. And I'll see you in the next one. I'm out. Peace.